Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again to Quechee, Vermont, and our final visit here at the Vermont Farmhouse. Today, we're going to give you a complete tour of the exterior, look at the grounds, and learn how you landscape a house like this to fit right into the woods. Also, inside, the interior designers have done a great job. Beautiful furnishings, many of them made right here in Vermont. And, of course, it's a connected home, so we'll look at those features, too. Stick around. It's good to have you home again. Well, most of the houses here at Quechee Lakes are right in the woods. Let's get started with David Raphael today, who's been the landscape architect. And David, what's your thinking when you approach a project like this?
We're trying to relate to the context of the existing environment and have as least impact on that existing environment.
So a minimal impact, very few scars into the landscape. Let's take a quick look at your plan here. This is obviously the driveway, and we're standing right down around here. And you see the retaining walls that were so beautifully built. There's not too much landscape work, right?
Correct.
Just around these two sides of the house. And then what's washed in the dark green, what's the point with that? Is it?
There's some minimal lawn area as well as native ground covers that we're planning to bring back from the woodland into the landscape.
And as I understand it, they haven't installed that because it's fall and you put all that ferns and stuff into
the spring.
In the spring.
Correct.
Now, what are some of the things that you've put up in here?
Well, we have some native and ornamental perennials in here with the concept of trying to provide some seasonal color, beginning in the spring with the Siberian iris, late summer with things like the rudbeckia, and the foxglove you can see is one of them's blooming in the back there.
Well, let's go up to the next level to see what's happening there.
Okay.
But the strongest feature of the landscape design are these two Corinthian granite walls that retain the hillside. Now, what's the thinking here?
Well, the thinking is to help retain the soil as well as step the hillside down to accommodate the house and the landscaping you see.
And some of the plant material that's used here looks like it came straight out of the woods.
That's correct. We're hoping to bring back some of the woods that we had to clear by bringing in the native birch. There's a maple over there, so the woodland actually comes back onto the site.
But this up here is kind of the most civilized part of the landscape, right?
Yes, yes it is.
Essentially, is it bluestone?
Yes, it is. And it's set in an irregular pattern. It's not too terribly formal, has some nice color mix to it, and it provides a level place to allow the residents to come out onto this small little terrace.
Sure. And what plant material is this?
These are Spirea bamalda, gold flame Spirea, Anthony water Spirea, more or less the same. They will bloom from early summer all the way through the fall, particularly if you cut off their blooms.
So they'll be pretty color right up to the house.
Correct.
Thanks, Dave.
My pleasure.
Now let's go see our builder, Ted Riley. Well, Ted, your job is done, huh? You can enjoy the rocking chair. How are you?
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Good. Good. And you?
Good.
Great. Well, the house looks beautiful. I think that we ought to, first of all, congratulate the architect, Hunter.
Yes, Hunter Wolf, yep.
Yeah, because he did manage to bring out the flavor of the extended Vermont farmhouse while combining in a few other features that are very contemporary.
Yes, I believe he really did a good job.
Yeah, and all of your craftsmen up here in Vermont have done a terrific job of keeping on track.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Yes,
right.
You should be,
very
right?
happy with it.
Because I think that from start to finish, this is a 6-month job, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and that's not always so easy to accomplish. I'll tell you, when we started out putting this green on, I was a little apprehensive. What do you think about it now?
I really like it. I think it's very traditional color to this farmhouse look.
And the dark green on the door and the rocking chair there, that's a nice, nice touch.
Yes, it is.
And the roofs have all come together. You know, they weathered for the last 3 months or so, so they're a little bit duller, that nice steel roof.
Yes, they are.
This is the one feature that the house has that no 19th century Vermont farmhouse would have had.
And they all wish they had it.
They all wish they had it.
Right.
A beautiful 2-car garage with the same kind of features, the nice rake board and the return at the bottom. Just throughout the house, the whole look of it, the windows, the proportions of everything are perfect. Now tell me a little bit about this house. It's not sold yet.
No, it is
Quechee
not.
Lakes, the developers, have it on the market for
$650,000.
$650,000. And now if someone comes along to buy this house, they get a lot more than just the house, right?
Yes, we have a complete management service, and of course you have a membership of the country club that we have here and so forth.
So the management service means that if you're using it as a weekend house, you go back to the city and you don't have to worry about the gardens being taken care of or even house cleaning and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And the country club is an automatic membership, not just for skiing up here in the winter, but golf.
Right, there's 2 18-hole golf courses, there's tennis courts and indoor facilities.
Terrific. All right, well, congratulations, Ted
Thank
Riley.
you, Bob.
And you're off to build the next house, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Go to bobvila.com to find out more about the Quechee Lakes Development in Vermont. Joining us now, interior designer Regina Lawrence.
Hello, Bob.
And you have gotten the assignment of really using a lot of Vermont craftsmanship in doing the interiors to this house, right?
Exactly. We were trying to coordinate a lot of Vermont furniture manufacturers.
Now, the architect specified Vermont slate for the floors here in the front hall.
Yes,
and
he did.
Maple staircase, so that says Vermont all over again, right?
And maple floors throughout the other areas we'll be visiting.
Let's talk about some of the detailing here in the front hall.
Fine. This happens to be a piece by a Vermont, actually a Quechee manufacturer, Sandra Pearl. I think you have seen her showroom.
Yes, and in fact, she makes all her dovetails by hand.
She does.
In her Quechee workshop, cabinet maker Sandra Pearl gets to work on the dovetails for a drawer she's constructing using poplar. After measuring and marking the dovetails, she gets to work with a chisel and saw. To make the cuts, Sandra uses a Japanese backsaw, which is curved in only one direction for a precise cut. Largely self-taught, Sandra learned the craft of dovetailing at the Ian Kirby studio. The pieces that fit into a dovetail are called pins. The narrower the pins, the more artistic and refined the joint. When all cuts are completed, the pieces are gently and carefully forced together. With this dovetail finished, it's on to the next. And then the stenciling is also by a Quechee artist, right?
It is. Polly Forcier, for about 30 years, has documented stencils in houses in New Hampshire and Vermont. And this is a document stencil she's put in the entryway for us.
By that you mean it's actually historic,
It's
taken from an authentic historic house.
Exactly, it's an authentic design.
Looks like a little holly leaf, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Let's go in the living room and take a close look in here.
Very good.
Well, this is subtle. I like the choice of colors. It's, I guess, a pomegranate, or no, what do you call this? Persimmon.
Persimmon.
Yeah. And then the greens and the beige. And I like touches like this, though. This is a beautiful standing wrought iron lamp. Now, who makes this?
That's from Hubbard and Forge. Most of the wired in place fixtures and lamps in the home are from Hubbard and Forge in Castleton, Vermont.
Hubbardton Forge began as a small blacksmith shop in a Vermont barn nearly 30 years ago. Each Hubbardton Forge wrought iron lamp and light fixture is still hand-forged in Castleton, Vermont. Using both traditional methods and the best applications of modern technology, the blacksmiths coax a piece of red-hot iron into the shape that will form a stem and leaf on a lamp. They twist and hammer the heated metal into various shapes and forms. Forging is hot, labor-intensive handwork, and that is revealed in the artistry and value of each piece. Tell me about this painting. It's kind of a luminous sunset.
This is by Dennis Sheehan. He's a New England artist, and we have 4 original pieces in the house, not all by Dennis, but all from Gallery on the Green in Woodstock.
Great. Now, what about your choices of furniture in here? This is, again, cherry wood, I guess, on the coffee table, right?
It is. All the furniture in the living room and the dining area are from Clear Lake Furniture, and they've done a lovely job on the marquetry. What they chose to do was mix the main wood, in this case cherry, with a maple inset to go with our maple floors.
And is the glass from the famous Simon Pierce?
Simon Pierce, right in Quechee.
Beautiful stuff. Let's take a look in the dining area. Now, the kitchen and dining room are open onto the living room, but up 2 steps, which is a nice transition.
Yes. And you can see they've done the same type of furniture inlay here. Again, we have the cherry with maple on this piece.
So this is a maple insert, and it reflects what you're looking at down on the floor.
Right.
Nice.
And beautiful construction by Clear Lake. They do a lot of handcrafting. And on the table, they've done the reverse. We have a maple table with a cherry insert.
Beautiful. And the chairs, they're cherry as well,
Chairs
right?
are cherry, yes.
A lot of cherry in Vermont and New Hampshire.
Nicely curved, very
Now,
comfortable.
Yeah, the Crown Point kitchen has really turned out very, very nicely. And you've accessorized it with some Vermont stuff probably, right?
Yes, that's a split edge. That's an apple basket. And you can see again what we've done here is carried the maple onto the knobs of the off-white cabinet.
Yeah, this is such a nice design because it really looks 19th century, but the construction, the detailing is all very, very contemporary.
Very efficient.
And speaking
kitchen.
of contemporary, we're going to talk with Tim Woods of the Internet Home Alliance right now. I'll catch up with you in a few minutes.
Very good.
One of the great features of this house is that from anywhere in the house you can connect to the internet. And Tim, what do you have here?
Well, this is our security system. We finally got it all hooked up. This is the ADT Center.
Yeah.
And it's basically an internet enabled. So beyond all those great security features and monitoring that ADT provides, it also does things like messaging. You can do emails, you can tie it in with your phone system, and you can do voice messaging. One of the other cool things is here, you can also control your lighting from any room in the house. So you can turn the kitchen lights on and off from here if you want to.
And outside lights as well?
Outside lights as well, yes, if they're programmed in there. You've got your regular security functions, and we've got something else cool here, Bob, with your name on it. Basically, this is your own home page. So from any iCenter in the house, you can pick up your emails. You can get things like news, sports, weather, those sorts of things. You can even get weather in the local area.
Great.
This is also kind of another neat feature. This is a key fob. And what we do with this is you can actually hook this into your lighting system. When you pull up to the house outside, and let's say you've got an armful of groceries, you can turn the lights on in the kitchen as you're walking in.
Mm-hmm. And with the phone system, you can also control the house, right?
That's right. Well, we got a PBX Panasonic phone system. Now, normally you'd see something of this magnitude in a small business or, you know, that kind of an office environment. But with this system in this house, you really get to do some really interesting things. You can do conference calling, you can forward calls to other rooms, you can intercom to other rooms. It's a great, great functionality in a small system.
Now, what about controlling the house from a distance if you're driving up for a ski weekend and you want to raise the heat?
Well, one of the great things about that is that Honeywell's come up with a thermostat that you can use, and you can actually, as you're pulling up to the house, let's say you're an hour away, dial up the house, turn up the heat so it's nice and toasty warm when you're coming in.
The internet at your fingertips. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Learn more about making your home a connected home at bobvila.com. This is a nice palette in here, basically a kind of a blonde wood with a sea green.
Yes, Pompanusic Mills, who did all the furniture in this room, decided to use the nice light maple, and we carried the soft green in to echo the slate color in the entryway.
So the Shaw carpet does that very, very nicely.
Right, we have a very subtle transition from the hall.
Yeah. Now the furniture's nice too. I mean, I love the same colors built into it there.
This fabric, actually, Pompanusic put on the chair, and they purchased a fabric from Anakini. We cheated a little bit here.
What's Anakini?
Anakini is a Vermont-based firm, but all of these very posh fabrics come from Italy.
Boy,
beautiful quality linens.
Beautiful. Very, very posh indeed. So when you have this much trim on a bed, it's probably a good idea not to go heavy on the windows, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
For ventilation and light control, we went to custom shutters. We cheated a little there as well. They're out of Texas, but make a lovely shutter. Fully movable.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And this, of course, would be my favorite spot. This is Panasonic's new Replay TV with the Showstopper feature, which is essentially a disc. It's one of the first TVs with a disc so that you can be watching live sports and you can freeze the live action, come back 5-10 minutes later and start it all over again, and you don't miss any of the show. Well, before we go upstairs, let's take a quick look in the master bath down here. It really came out very nicely. Now, this is cherry wood cabinet from Crown Point, the New Hampshire firm that made it. Riley and I installed it about 3-4 weeks ago. And it has additional dresser storage. We've got the double Kohler sinks right up here, and then a terrific one-person Whirlpool tub. All the features you could want. And then, of course, there's also a nice shower area. Let's go take a look upstairs. Okay, on the second floor, we have a total of 3 bedrooms. 2 of them are like kids' rooms with a bath down the hall, and there's another master where we're going to meet Regina in a minute. But let's look at this computer situation here, because in this part of Vermont, like 70% of the country, we don't have direct connections to the internet. And here we're benefiting from Hughes Network Systems Directway. The satellite dish is right outside here. You can see it right over there. And that's what enables us to have 2-way satellite communications all the time. There's bobvila.com. Let's go check out the upstairs master bedroom. The views through this oversized window on the second floor master bedroom really are my favorite. This is my favorite spot in the whole house, with the distant mountains and the leaves turning color. And also the architecture in this room I think is kind of neat.
It's a wonderful space.
Yeah, we've got double closets on one side, we've got higher ceilings than most, we've got a bathroom that's in the bedroom, but because of the pocket doors it can be isolated. We've got a sloped ceiling in this part of the area, so that we're looking at all this daylight that can come in through the Vila skylight. And of course we've got other touches like the crown point cherry wood vanity cabinets, just like the ones we looked at downstairs, ceramic tiles that blend in with the Shaw carpet that Kathy Ireland picked out for us. And I think one of my favorite features in the whole house is this mirror, which is framed in carved cherry and really tells the story of Charles Shackleton. Shackleton is a Vermont craftsman who emigrated from Ireland about 20 years ago. We visited his workshops just a couple of weeks ago. Shackleton started a business that really incorporates apprenticeship in the old world tradition. When you tour his workshops, you're seeing craftsmen who are responsible for the construction of pieces of furniture from the very beginnings, of cutting out the legs and rails and stiles, through all the carving and all the detailing that goes on. Using materials of the highest quality, the pieces produced at the Shackleton workshop have a timeless and traditional quality in their design and construction. Shackleton is also fortunate to be married to Miranda Thomas, a potter whose forms and glazes are quite treasured today. And there's the finished beaker with the beautiful peony on it. Gorgeous piece. But then all of these pieces are complementary. The cherry wood and the glazes and the styling I think is great. This writing table, if you will, which has the carved front frieze and the very solid, slightly tapered legs, the elegant chair, very, very 19th century chair, almost kind of like what they used to call klismos chairs. And, you know, the whole of it very, very uniform. Now, you've chosen probably the largest piece of furniture that they make to put into this room. What's your logic here?
Well, we felt we had an opportunity because of the scale of the room, which you mentioned before, the size of the windows, this height of the ceiling, and also the fact that the room opened up into the bath area.
Sure.
So taking the tester bed as really the centerpiece of the room and dressing it very elegantly with the Anakini linens.
Sure, but the carving is what I really appreciate. The scroll here, the carving, the raised panel, it's very subtle, very continental. And then you've got the height.
Yes, it's a tester bed form, but it's done in a uniquely, I think, Shackleton way. Very heavy members, and the carving both in the headboard and footboard that echo a lot of the motifs in the other pieces of furniture.
Right. And you said it's a tester bed, just like an 18th century bed, so that you can
Indeed.
put hangings on the side of it.
Right.
And if it's really cold in Vermont, just shut yourself in. Tell us a little bit about all this, all the linens.
Well, again, we have the very elegant Anakini bed dressing. Here they've combined a damask-covered duvet with a tapestry coverlet, layered pillows, and a very nice kind of chenille blanket.
Yeah, but the colors are wild.
They are. And again, we started with the pale yellow carpet coming off the hallway and warmed it up with this nice persimmon and then the greens. And we felt that all of the colors on the bed were really, especially this time of year, what you'd see out the window.
Excellent choice. Well, it's a beautiful room and it's a beautiful job you've done on the house. Thanks so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Bob.
We'll be back in a moment with a preview of our next remodeling project, so stick around. Well, I guess I'm sitting down on the job, but it's a wrap. We've had a great time building this house here in Quechee, Vermont, and I hope a lot of you that watch the show will come and visit. It's a wrap, and next time we're starting a brand new project in Medford, Massachusetts, a Boston suburb today, formerly a small village, and the house that we're working on was once a little dairy operation. I hope you'll join us. Till then, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again. For lots of information and resources for your home improvement project, check out my website at bobvila.com.